Hey everyone, Christina here. So I wanted to share a vlog about a question that was posed recently to me and others. And that question was, what was the most impactful moment in your life? And initially I couldn't really see one because, there's a lot of moments that have, an important role in your development and your process in your life. But I watched a couple from some friends, and one point did come up for me in terms of really having an impact in who I was and the direction I took from that moment on. And the moment was about 8 years ago. I was at home. A family member similar to my age lived at home with me as well, and we kind of grew up together. And we both have had our struggles with addiction when it comes to drugs. And I was at that stage in my life 8 years ago, trying to let go of these addictions that I could see I was within, and I was starting to question myself and who I was and why I was participating in certain things. And I had made a decision within myself that I was done using what I was using. I was done drinking. I was done smoking weed. I wasn't going to do it anymore. And so I actually gave what I had left in terms of alcohol and some, paraphernalia to this family member. And that night there was an incident where she got a little out of control, and it was quite a scene. It was quite a play out. And I remember standing in front of her and looking at her in the eyes, and it was like she was this completely different person. She had consumed alcohol, and it was like she wasn't even there, yet she was looking at me, and she was awake and standing, and she was there, but she wasn't there. And just how the events played out that evening, and really specifically this one moment of me looking at her in the eyes and seeing that she was completely gone, it really was a wake-up call for me, because in that moment I could see how my acceptance and allowance in participating in drugs and alcohol had in fact affected her life and how it had played a role in her life. And I could also see in that moment how what I accept and allow within myself, I accept and allow within other people. And so standing in front of me was a manifestation that I've accepted and allowed within myself, and that's where we abuse things outside of ourselves to escape or to cope or to deal with things. We think we're helping each other, maybe not consciously, but we do these behaviors and these things to deal with ourselves and things that go on in our life. And I could see just clearly that I had participated within the acceptance and allowance in this world of abusing alcohol and drugs. And it was quite a shock for me, because I could see clearly in that moment how who I am and who I was and what I accepted and allowed and what I wasn't taking responsibility for was influencing and allowing this thing to continue in this existence. And so it was a really powerful moment for me. And I made a decision in that moment. I had already thought I had made the decision that I was done with drugs and alcohol, but I made a decision in that moment that I would no longer allow myself to abuse drugs or alcohol. And I would change, because I could see how my responsibility extended beyond myself. I have an influence in this world. I have an effect on what happens, and it's not to sound powerful or almighty. It's simply, our words affect people. Our actions affect people, directly or indirectly, and whether we know it or not, it does. And if you look at the timelines of the consequences that play out from what you do in a moment, you'll see you do have an effect in this world. And so that was a really impactful moment for me. It was very powerful, and I'll never forget it. And, you know, that moment, unfortunately, you know, it took that moment that was not pleasant for me to realize what I was accepting and allowing, and what I had to do to stop. And I said no more in that moment, and I'm grateful that I took the opportunity that I had before me. You know, it's unfortunate I allowed it to get to that point, and it had to be that type of moment to wake me up, but it happened, and that's what it was. And you know, so yeah, I just wanted to share that was a very impactful moment in my life, and thanks to Gabrielle for posing the question. So I encourage you to share a moment that was impactful for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.